piping the decoration and for icing the side of the cake. It is very important when you are making royal icing to make sure that the bowl is covered either with a cover or with a damp towel. This is because the icing crusts easily, so we will not have problem when we are piping or when we want to decorate. So to prevent the crust from forming, we'll cover the icing with a damp cloth or a lid. The royal icing is ready for use, and we cover so that it will not form crusts. Yes, to ice a cake, especially for royal and butter icing, it is very important that you use a turntable when you are. The turntable makes it easy for the cake to be rotated while you need to decorate all the sides. That is the importance of the turntable. We'll also use this decorating combs or decorating brushes for the side and the top of the cake to create decorative designs on the side of the cake. So let's get started. Now with royal icing, you can add coloring, and you can leave it white. Now you have to decide first hand what colors you want your cake to be. You want a white background with some other colors, or you want the cake to be in another color while you decorate with white. In this case, we'll give our cake a white background, and then we'll use the pink coloring and green coloring to make our decorative design. Right. If you look at this cake, you will see that it has been crumb coated. What I mean by crumb coated is we have used a thin layer of icing to cover it so that the crumbs will not come in to the decoration. When we are decorating the cake, it will not stain the decoration of the icing. So you mix the little icing sugar to a very thin consistency, and you use it to whitewash or to cover the cake, and leave for a day or two before you ice the cake. Now, it is very important that you have warm water on your side, because you need to dip in your spatula into it and use for the icing the cake. Now, it is important to first cover all the cake, the side of the cake, with royal icing. Do not bother to smoothen for now. Just make sure that you are covering the side of the cake. Be careful so that the crumbs does not get into the cake. Now make sure that the icing covers all of the side of the cake. Do not bother to smoothen at first, but you first make sure that the icing is covering all of the sides without any exposure of the cake. With royal icing, you have to work very fast so that it does not form a crust. Now after covering all the sides, you now try to smoothen using your spatula. Remember to dip your spatula in warm water. Your icing spatula. Now, for the sake of design and decoration, you may like to use your decorating combs. You also dip the decorating combs in warm water, and you use it to wave, to brush the side. Be careful to turn the end where you started. Be careful to lift your decorating comb gently and carefully. Now you check your cake. If you see anywhere that is not okay, you add a tint or touch of icing and you will brush the area. So keep it in water again and you will brush. Be careful so that the decorating comb does not hook the cake, thereby bringing out crumbs to the cake. Now ice the top of the cake. As you are working, always remember to cover your icing, bowl of icing, with a damp cloth. Just like you did while you were covering the sides, you make sure that you first cover before you start to smoothen. Spread around. Be careful so that your knife does not touch the cake. Now we try to smoothen the edge at the top of the cake by leaning your knife. Now to decorate the top of the cake, you use the smaller sides of the wavy foam. Remember, you want to mix them. After you have covered the cake, you try and lifting the sides and the edges of the cake board by removing all the excess icing. Be careful not to remove crumbs with the icing. And finally, you can touch up your cake board with a little touch of icing to give it a beautiful look. Remember, you do it lightly, turning your table as you walk. After covering the tops and the side of the cake, you leave it to dry for 1 day before you decorate the sides and the borders of the cake. Now the icing, the royal icing has dried. We left it for 24 hours and then we will now decorate it. To decorate the cake, we need our icing to come in the pink color and a little bit of green color to touch up with the leaves. So we'll take a little of the royal icing and color it pink. We'll use our toothpick to take the color a little at a time and we'll add to the icing. Liquid wash spatula. We also need a little bit of green royal icing. We will mix using our toothpick. We use green, moss green coloring. To decorate the cake, you can either use the icing pumps, popularly called syringe and the nozzle, or you can use the piping bag. Using our pink icing first. Remember not to make the pump too full, to allow for use the shell nozzle. Remember to cover the remaining icing with damp. begin from the top or from the downside. I'll begin decorating using the shell design. Decorate the top of the cake also using the shell design. Turn the turntable around as you go. I will take the green icing and use to add color to the cake. You can do the same up. Notice that I am touching the green in between the shells. I'm putting a touch of the icing in between the shells. You can also decorate, put a little bit of decoration like flowers on the side of the cake using the same pink color. Now we'll finish off with a green icing using one of the writing marbles. Let's start. Piping rosettes on top. Pipe rosettes. This cake is suitable for a girl's birthday cake, so we can finish it up by writing the name of the celebrant or by just writing happy birthday. Here we have the completed 10-inch round cake with royal icing. Here, viewers at home, here we have our beautifully decorated royal iced 10-inch round birthday cake. We now move on to the butter icing. For this butter icing, we need butter, we need confectioner or icing sugar, we need butterscotch flavoring, and we need water. Just like we did for the royal icing, we will sieve our icing sugar. Would you like also to sieve icing sugar? We'll measure our butter. For 2 packets of icing sugar that we have sifted, we need 1/4 cup of butter. So we measure the butter into the cup. And we turn into a bowl. Mix the butter a little with your spoon. And then you mix the icing sugar with the butter. Mix thoroughly and add a little water as you go. So add a little water. Remember to add a cupful of the butterscotch flavor to the butter icing and mix together thoroughly. Wow! Now we're ready to ice the cake. Just like we did the other time, we'll first ice the sides of the cake and then we move on to the top of the cake. The difference between the royal icing and the butter icing is that the butter icing does not dry candy hard, but the royal icing dries very hard. Remember to also rotate the turntable as you try to first cover the icing. Just like we said the other time, do not worry about smoothing it for the first time. Make sure all the sides of the cake is covered completely with the icing sugar. Then, with the smooth side of the decorating comb, the smoothen icing. Remember to dip in the warm water. Start from one side and move through the other side. Remove your comb gently. We'll now move on to ice the top of the cake. Remember to put enough icing to cover the top of the cake, when you start working. Now, just like we did the other time, make sure you cover the top first completely with the icing sugar. Cover the tops completely and be careful so that the butter icing does not run down sideways. Now you also smoothen the top of the cake. Remember not to allow the icing to run down the side. You cut off the excess icing you have on the border of the cake. After covering the side and the top of the cake, make sure you remove the excess icing on the cake board to give it a beautiful finish. Now, as different from the real icing, this butter icing does not dry candy hard, so we leave just for a few hours to make it set before we decorate the cake. Well, viewers, we have left our butter iced cake for about 8 hours to set, and it is now ready for decoration. We will decorate this in the yellow color and the green color. Let's get started. Always remember not to we'll decorate the cake using the zigzag design. Don't forget, we're still using the zigzag decoration for the top of the cake. Decorate the side of the icing using icing dots.